This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You are watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Okay, so in this video, I want to give you guys a lot of backstage access information. Okay, not something that I really talk about too much, but this one, I think I'm going to have to try and get across certain points. Now, I seen a very short video clip pop up on my Twitter timeline a few hours ago. It's about 7, maybe 8 seconds long. Ben Shalom is telling a reporter, or asking a reporter, to not ask him about Probellum, about Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua, or something like that. Now, I seen it, and I thought, okay, cool. Reason being is because it's very commonplace. It is. And again, I'm going to touch on that in a second. But since then, I'm seeing my Twitter timeline blow up, my notification going through the roof. Because when I first saw it, I thought, hang on a minute, have I done something wrong here? And I open it up and I'm seeing this video clip pop up here, there and everywhere. People are asking me, have I seen this video clip? What's my thoughts on it? Eddie Hearn is the only person out there who's quite clearly transparent. All other interviews are quite clearly scripted and running narratives and whatever else. They're not allowed to ask certain questions, and Eddie Hearn is transparent. So we're going to cover all of that in this video, right? Now, firstly, for those of you who say that Ben Shalom should not be asking any reporter to not ask him certain questions, well, there's a couple of points on that one. I mean, firstly, well, there could be some kind of legal issue going on, okay? So he didn't want to be asked a certain question in an interview, have to respond to it, and it might bite him. Now, as we know, and I've already covered it in video, there is a legal issue between Ben Shalom and Probellum. Probellum are suing Ben Shalom. I've covered this in video. Go check that out, just so I don't have to cover it here again. Okay, so that will give you your first answer. Now, when it comes to Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn, well, why would you possibly not want to talk about them? Quite clearly, the questions will be, over the last couple of days, there's been reports put out there that Anthony Joshua is set to snub Sky Sports and go exclusive with DAZN. Again, you have to remember, firstly, Ben Shalom, he won't know about that situation, okay, because he's not negotiating with Anthony Joshua about him going on to Sky Sports. That's not for him, that's for Adam Smith to do, okay? So, Sky Sports is Ben Shalom's employer. He doesn't want to say the wrong thing. Ben Shalom and Boxer are new to Sky Sports. They've been given this opportunity. They're only, 10 months in or something like that. Maybe he's under a probationary period. Those of you who have got new jobs, you will know there's usually a probationary period, where after a certain point, you could get released from your contract if they're dissatisfied with you. He didn't want to say the wrong thing. Doesn't want to do the wrong thing. As any of you, myself included, would do ourselves. Why? Because he's got a family to feed. He's got bills to pay. Plus, he's doing a job that a lot of people would give their right arm to do. So you would toe the line in any which way you possibly can. Okay? Don't be wrong, he's going to have his own opinions. Of course he is. Okay? Now, when it comes to Eddie Hearn being transparent, now, I've conducted, I don't know, a couple of hundred interviews or something like that. And I've interviewed Eddie Hearn on, I don't know, several occasions. And it's true, Eddie Hearn has never asked me to not ask him certain questions. He's never asked me afterwards to delete the video or to remove certain parts of the video, for example. Yes, that's true. That's never happened. But what Eddie Hearn does do is skirt around certain questions. He does. If he's unhappy or uncomfortable about a certain question, he will dance around it. He'll make a joke of it. He will fire it back or whatever, okay? That's what Eddie Hearn does. And it's happened to me on a couple of occasions with Eddie Hearn, to the point where I would have appreciated before the interview had you said to me, don't ask me about that. Because again, me doing interviews, okay, my platform is not for interviews, so I can take them or leave them. Which brings me on to the next point. Now, I could turn my channel into an interview-only channel. Okay, I could do that, because currently it's a boxing news channel, and of course, subjects within boxing that I'll give you my thoughts, my opinions on. Whether you like my opinions, agree with my opinions, or you don't. They're still out there, okay? So I could take or leave the interviews, but I could turn it into an interview platform only. I could. I've already got the platform to do it. But of course, that means I've got to go up and down the country to certain shows and trains and coaches and hotels and all that kind of stuff. Do I really want to go through all that? Maybe. I've always said no, but I'm at the point now where, between you and I have really been thinking about it. I have been thinking about it, because interviewing is not difficult. It really isn't. I mean, I've done a lot of interviews. Am I the best at it? No. But one of the reasons is because I'm not experienced at it. I don't do them enough. if I was to do interview after interview after interview, it would become second nature to me. It would become very, very natural and normal. Like doing these particular videos, for example. I can just open up the mic, talk. It's very easy for me. But for, say, for example, if Coogan wanted to do what it is that I'm doing right now, he's going to find it uncomfortable, like a fish out of water, because you're not used to it. So I have thought about it, but I understand what goes on in interviews. I understand what happens with interviews. I understand that for certain people, for example, interviewers, IFL, for example, that's what they get paid to do. Okay, now I don't know if they make extra money on top of whatever. I mean, I'm sure they do with their sponsors and wherever else money's coming from, right? We'll leave that one alone. But they go to shows, to press conferences, to weigh-ins, and they do interviews. And they get paid for that content from their AdSense. That's their bread and butter. That's what puts food on the table. So for people, and especially other YouTubers out there who say how IFL or how Boxing Social or how Behind the Gloves, whatever, should ask certain questions. Why aren't they asking certain questions? Because they're afraid. If that was me, I'd ask those questions. Yeah. YouTubers who say that, they say that because, firstly, they don't have access. Secondly, they're not going to get access. And thirdly, if they did have access, they wouldn't do it themselves. They wouldn't. So it's very easy to say, I would do this and I would do that. Okay, well, go do it then. There's a reason why they don't do it. Because they can't do it. Because they're full of shit. Okay? Now, for Ben Shalom to say that, as I said before, it could be a legal issue. Now, it's very commonplace. It's very, very commonplace for people to say to you, can you not ask me about this? Now, it doesn't happen to me too often. It has happened, but I know the boxing landscape. And those people in boxing who know about my platform and have watched my videos, which I'm surprised at how many there actually is, but they already know that I will already know the boxing landscape. So when it comes to me doing an interview, I'm always going to be respectful because they don't have to give me their time, but they do. But I will not press them about certain questions, certain subjects. I won't throw them under the bus. Why? I don't particularly want to be making them feel uncomfortable. And me as a YouTuber and any other YouTuber out there are not professional reporters. They are YouTubers. Any one of you listening to me right now can pick up your iPhone and go to a press conference. Now, again, speaking of which, if I was in charge of the media team at Boxer or Matchroom or Queensbury or whatever, well, I wouldn't work for Queensbury, but any kind of platform, I would make it compulsory that any media that are attending, you must apply before you go there, much like they do for fight nights. Because there's too many Tom, Dick and Harrys who turn up to these press conferences with their iPhones or their Samsungs and whatever and asking the most ridiculous questions that quite clearly they have no idea on boxing. So basically what they're doing is they're wasting everybody's time, and those who are there to do as professional job as they possibly can, they're holding them back. That's, again, listen, that's just me. But when it comes to doing interviews, they don't have to give you the time. They don't. Ben Shalom, Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, they're not politicians. With politicians, you, the taxpayer, you have every right to ask certain questions, and they should tell you the answers. These people don't. They don't. They don't even have to do interviews. They don't. Okay, so for those of you who are acting all butthurt about Ben Shalom asking a reporter to not ask certain questions, well, it happens. It does happen. And I've given you plenty of reasons as to why possibly it has happened. But you're not going to know about a lot of it because a lot of people who do these interviews are more respectful to make sure that that part is not recorded in the first place. And if it is, you make sure that you don't upload it. You should have the common courtesy, the common decency to remember that that's what's happened. My camera was rolling, so before I upload it, before I start panicking, I need to get this uploaded so people can watch it ASAP before other people start uploading theirs. And this is what happens, by the way. Then you should remember, clip that part out. And if you forgot to do it, oh well, unlucky. Ben Shalom, Sky Sports have every right to block you from going to future events on their shows. They have every right to do so. And for those of you who think that they don't, well, they do. They do. Because they didn't have to do an interview in the first place. Listen, I ain't the biggest fan of Frank Warren, okay? I ain't. I do respect him and all that kind of stuff. And I would never do an interview with him to throw him under the bus. I would never do that. But if I did an interview with him and he said to me beforehand, and I'd already recorded, or even partway through the interview, don't ask me about this or don't ask me about that, guess what I would do? I would cut that part out. I would remember to do that. Why? Out of respect. It's common courtesy, isn't it? Listen, things do happen, okay? They do. Okay, maybe you can misunderstand something, or maybe they asked you to cut something out and you didn't hear them correctly, or they said, oh, actually, you know what, can we not upload that video? Things happen, okay? They do happen. But you do have to be respectful, especially with something as serious as that. Although it's not really that serious, but some people try to turn it into something serious, hence all the notifications I'm getting. But whoever that was, I think I know who it was, not for the first time this particular platform is royally fucked up, but you make sure that is not part of your interview. Now, if that happened before the interview, shame on you, because anybody who does interviews, you should always listen to at least the first 30 seconds or a minute to make sure that your audio is okay. And then go to the very end of it to make sure the audio is still okay. Okay? So that's what they should do. Clearly they did. So if that was at the very beginning, firstly, why was you recording it? Okay? And secondly, how did you not clip that out? Do you have an agenda and now you want to claim behind, oh, accident? I mean, if I was Ben Shalom, whoever that was, I would block him, and he'd have every right to do so. But he probably won't because he's a nice guy, all right? But is Eddie Hearn as transparent as people say, or as he seems to claim that he is? No, he's not transparent. He's not. I have witness to this. Many people I know who do interviews are witness to this. He will dance around certain issues. He will. When it comes to me doing interviews, I've been asked by quite a few people, can you cut out this particular question? And it could just be something simple like they made an announcement or they let me know something in an interview because they kind of forgot it was an interview and we're just having a regular conversation, and maybe it was an announcement that I want to put the particular interview out. They said, hang on a minute, I'm not allowed to say that part yet. Can you cut it out for me? I don't want to get in trouble. Fair dues. And you know what? I'll remember to cut it out. I will. I know people have this impression that reporters, who are not officially reporters, by the way, it's any old numpty, okay? They are. But they have this professional obligation to ask the serious questions like they are professional newsreaders. They're not professional newsreaders at all. They're not. But if these people are good enough to give you their time to help you out by doing these interviews and allow you access, the least you can do, the very minimum you can do, is remember that if something like that happens and it's within your interview, whether, especially if it's at the very beginning of it, which it sounds like it is, but even if it happened partway through the interview and you had to start again, remember that happened. Stop panic uploading. But anyway, listen, that's my thoughts on this whole situation. As I said, it's commonplace. It is commonplace. It's just that most people have enough respect to not record when people say that. And if they do, cut it out. Very simple. Eddie Hearn's not as transparent as what you think it is. And I said there's probably, especially with the whole Probellum thing and Ben Shalom, yeah, there's a legal thing. I don't know if that's even going to go to court. I have no idea. I don't know anything about it. But if it does, then they don't want to be looking back on that particular interview where somebody asked them a question and dragging that up. They don't. Sometimes less said, the better. Personally, I prefer it if I do interviews. And even though I do give people the option anyway to ask me to cut things out or maybe not ask certain questions, if something does happen, I would prefer it in the very beginning if they said to me, don't ask me about this. They don't have to tell me the reason why. I can only presume that there's a legitimate reason. And that's all that is. Okay, so what Ben Shalom done there happens many, many times with many different promoters, managers, boxers. My thoughts, drop me yours, click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you on the next video.